Life. My name is Brennan, and joining tonight is Jess.
Hey, everybody.
And Nicole.
Hello there.
And tonight we're doing Beast. Beast is a new movie with you can kind of guess exactly what the kind of movie it is based on the title. It's going to be an animal fighting a guy. That's right. So, it's an animal fighting a guy movie. We all see the trailer for this. I'm assuming that's how we knew that's what this is going to be.
Yes.
I saw my guy, and I was like, well, gotta see it.
Our guy, yeah, along with Liam Neeson, Idris Elba makes your list of, if he's in it, gotta go see
it. Yeah, pretty much.
Recently widowed Dr. Nate Daniels and his two teenage daughters travel to a South African game reserve managed by Martin Battles, an old family friend and wildlife biologist. However, what begins as a journey of healing soon turns into a fearsome fight for survival when a lion, a survivor of bloodthirsty poachers, begins stalking them. Wordy, but accurate. So, if you haven't seen Beast, that's the whole synopsis right there. It's Idris Elba. Charlton Copley is the other guy. People recognize him from District 9 and other things. And then there's two daughters, and they're going to try to survive this lion who's been wronged by poachers. So he's like on revenge. And I think you could probably play the whole movie in your head and kind of have an idea what it's going to be. But if you want to see that, theaters, and now spoilers. So I'm going to go right to you guys, because I don't think there's anything else to say. You know exactly what this is going to be. Did it work for you? Did you like it? Jess.
So I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it around a 50 or something, and I would say it's
68.
Probably 68? Okay. I think that honestly might have been a little bit too high. I was expecting like mid-50s is probably where it ranks for me. It's definitely not the best movie I've seen, but it certainly is not the worst. It definitely rides right in the middle. The parts that I didn't like were like the very, very stereotypical pieces that it's like, oh, you look just like your mom, like things like that. It was just almost too much. Like, I feel like movies are kind of getting away from that because people are being more creative, and like when you have those just like those lines like that or those scenes like that, it's just like so hard to watch. So that was a downer, and I think one thing that I wasn't really following was, like, the story of the lion. Like, I knew he was pissed off because I guess he recognizes people hunt him, but the vengeance story was definitely hard to follow, especially for an animal, just because animals don't really think that way. I mean, maybe they do, but it's not like, that's just how a human would think. Like, oh, I need to kill who hurt me because
you have to believe
people.
that the animal wants revenge like a human would. Like,
exactly.
Which we don't generally think they do. Yeah.
Exactly. So that part kind of got me, and a lot of the lion scenes, and I'm sure Nicole will have the same reaction as me, just did not make sense. Like, some scenes, I mean, I can go into it in detail. I think once I said that, you guys understand. So we can talk about the lion scenes that, like, would never happen in real life later.
What are you talking about?
But I think, unfortunately, those pieces did not make it as enjoyable as I had hoped. But I wouldn't say it was, like, bad. Like, I'm not going to trash talk it, like, to the end. It was just those things about it.
Yeah, well, I think there'll be a little upside and a little trash talk in this one. I think it'll get some both. Nicole, what do you think?
For some reason in my head, I was thinking that this was going to be the same thing as Prey, the Predator movie.
Oh no! Well, I mean,
no shit.
Replace the people. You know.
I thought it was going to be like that in the beginning.
It just felt like that.
It just didn't get sci-fi.
Well,
it's more like Crawl, that came out a couple years ago with the alligators in the storm. I don't know if you guys saw that. I saw that one, but it's this, but instead of in the middle of the desert, it's the middle of a hurricane, and then an alligator wants revenge. So you know, it's a type of movie.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. The lion looked like it was animatronic to me, like it was going to start turning into a robot or something, like its eye was going to bust out with like smoke and its skin was gonna start peeling off and be metal underneath or something. Like, that's what I felt like was happening here. That's why I said it was like Prey to me, because it looked like...
Because it looked bad, or because you were expecting a twist where it was a mechanical lion?
Because I was expecting a twist.
Oh, okay.
I didn't literally think it was going to be a mad lion. Like, that is so silly.
Yeah.
Like, what
it is.
What the fuck? Yeah, there's some storyline in here that really leaves you to put it together yourself. Like, the whole pride situation, and they make it sound like they would not be willing to fight a lion out of its territory, but then they will, but they won't, and that it doesn't want to eat the people, it just wants to kill them. It's so aggressive, it can't be, it doesn't go to sleep with a trank. Like, what the fuck is going on? This lion. It's crazy.
It survived the fire.
It survived the fire, yeah. It fell off a cliff.
The explosion.
Fell off a cliff. Yeah, it was unreal. The story is really, really juvenile to me. I just think that it was really loose in dialogue and really loose plot line. And with that, I think it comes across as really kind of messy, because it's just got too much stuff trying to jumble in to make a storyline. We have a dead mom, we have a dad trying to make it work with his kids, we have a long lost friend who's secretly this anti-poacher, and we've got the whole poacher situation. We've got this weird, deranged rabies lion. It's just like, what the heck?
He's rabid, but
what the heck is going
perhaps
on?
deranged. You see, he's a little on the mangy side. I would say this is like kind of like a perfect matching of advertising and execution. I think this is if you saw the trailer we did, this is almost exactly what I wanted to see. It's not like great because the dialogue you said earlier, I think you both did actually, is just like really like cornball writing. The way the daughter reveals like that the mom dies and that the dad wasn't there, and all that's all.
Oh my
was
god!
all very,
I forgot. That's the part that I hate. Is like when you made a promise that mom was not going to die. I never forgave you, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was very bad. Like, and I don't know if you guys noticed either the ADR where they add the voice back over later in post because they didn't catch it on set. That a lot of times when they're like walking around in the village, when they find the abandoned village, the dialogue, it's so much ADR that they'll actually have the actors will turn their head and you'll see their lips moving and it won't match the words. That happened a couple of times in this movie, especially when the daughters are together. And I was like, that's just like really distractingly bad. And like, yeah, no, the lion makes no sense, obviously. Like, there's no reason that this like it's a lion and he wants revenge on the poachers for killing the people, and he'll kill all the humans, even the good humans, and that's like the story. Like, that's like what we're supposed to do here. And like that's why the ranger guy, Charles Copley, is like, lions don't usually act this way. They don't usually go like hunt for or and attack for no reason like that. And they had like a superstitious element too.
They still didn't explain why it just fought, kill people and didn't eat them. That was like a whole point of him to say that.
Yeah, I think it's just it wants revenge, like the shark in Jaws. Why does the shark in Jaws want to kill all the people on the beach? Oh, it's a monster. It's a big scary shark in the water. It's coming for you.
It's a
That's
beast.
The same thing with this.
Yeah, animals don't think that way.
No, they don't. But like that's like when you have a movie monster, like, and it's a real animal, like when it's a bear versus a human in the movie. The bear does. We just saw in Prey when the bear was like chasing after the girl. It's like, yeah, maybe, but like probably not. In real life, the animals probably just run away. But in like movies, you're gonna make they want to fight the people. They're adversaries, and that's the whole. The beast has to be the lion. The beast has to be what he is, because if he's like a real lion and there's no movie, the lion would just be exiled, probably die on his own because he has no pride, and that's that's
like,
what really
it's like
happened.
so far fetched. Like, it could have been like something happened, like somehow the humans offered a peace offering and then the lions saw a different side of the humans and became friends with them. Like, it's almost like that could have happened.
Yeah, and I think at the end it was not... At the end, it wasn't that far off from being like that. Like when he defeats the beast in quotations, and we'll get to that ridiculous. But like that's all that kind of stuff is stuff I kind of expect going into these. I expect the animal to be a rabid, not again. There's that word, rabid. A monster, not a real animal, because real animals are not monsters. They don't do that. So, you have to forgive that kind of stuff if you want to accept what's happening at all, because the stuff that I like in this is that it's actually like pretty slick filmmaking. It's good action. There's just some cheap jump scare kind of stuff, but for the most part, when the lion's attacking in the middle parts on the Jeep, I like all that.
I feel like the Jeep was too long. It was too
I thought the Jeep part might have been my favorite part of the movie, except for when it got crazy cheesy dumb at the end. But I like the way it's shot in the Jeep. The dialogue's a little better in the Jeep. And, like, it's very bare bones, too. Like, they don't, like, not a lot happens. A lot of, like, walking across a field and, like, he's right over there and get the med pack. Like, it's a lot of really small, basic stuff for the whole movie. It's almost impressive how little happens, and it's still, like, pretty really engaging. I don't really get bored.
Yeah, I can't completely shit on it because I agree. Like, I was engaged. I liked the jump scares. Like, it wasn't a boring watch, but there was just a lot of other elements that just can't put it up there.
No, it's very much a 3-star, but like not a 3-star that could it couldn't have been. A movie like this isn't gonna be a masterpiece. I don't know how you would make this. You can't. There's even if it was impeccably written and like the animal had there was some big like forethought behind all that stuff, other than the obvious.
Like if the animal had rabies. Like, fine, I could understand why it's just acting unusual, but there's just no reason other than just vengeance.
But you have to get over, like, that's my point, is once you have to, like, that's a hump of a movie like this, like Jaws, like Crawl, what's another one? The Meg, that's what the big megalodon shark.
I remember something.
Yeah, but they're all these kind of movies. Like, one, there's no megalodon shark anymore in real life, but if there was, it wouldn't be a man-eater. It would be like every other shark, which attacks people, like, 4 times a year, and like that, because they don't eat humans. But we have to make it a big monster who's trying to kill everybody, because that's otherwise it's not man versus beast. Otherwise it's not called Beast. It's just called Sad Lion Lost His Family, and Idris Elba is thirsty in the desert with his children. How do we think of everybody in this? Idris good, other guy good, kids good?
No.
Yeah, no, honestly, everyone like I can't say like great things about him. It pains me to say it, but I think he was just average.
Yeah, I thought
just phoning it in, huh?
I thought that his lines were corny, his delivery was corny. The daughters were not good at all, unfortunately. I did not find them to be cohesive together. They just said the sentences. Like, there was no passion.
I thought the younger daughter was okay. I thought the older daughter wasn't as good.
I feel like they tried to give her lines that made her feel more mature, and they just didn't feel right for her. She was never, like, scared or anything. I can't imagine being in that situation and not being scared. Or she didn't show it, but her lines were just, like, said. I just didn't feel a back emotion to anybody's performance.
The younger or the older or both? Yeah, I did.
More so the younger girl. I just feel like she would say something and it would just be like reading it off the script. The other one, most of her emotion came because Daddy wasn't there. And like that was like the whole big thing. That was just cliche.
The writing behind that's so bad though.
So
like,
bad.
It's so clunky. It's so
they're in the middle of like getting.
They're like sitting around.
Well, she's in the middle of getting like ripped up in the stomach, and she says, "Dad, do you think you're going to come back and live with us again?" Or whatever the fuck she says. "Oh, you weren't there when Mom was dying. You're going to be there when I'm dying?" Or I don't remember what the fuck it is.
I hate that stuff.
That's so stupid.
I don't know if she said it quite like that.
The absolute worst acting, the worst scene of worst acting is when whatever the uncle or the brother, whoever he was like dying next to that tree in the middle of the swamp, like, and he was just like hardly talking because he was, I guess, was
He's
bleeding
losing
out
blood.
and he was not as cohesive. But I was like, how did he get there? Why is he sitting in the swamp on a tree? Like, I just didn't understand. And the way he was talking was just so weird. Like, I didn't get that whole part.
Because he was losing. I mean, he was losing blood. I thought that was fine. It is
I decision got that, but it was just, I don't know, something about how did he get there? Like, I just don't get. Well,
the decision for him to get out of the car was like it was a dumb horror movie decision, and that's another thing that holds this back is like it was they found that guy on the road. Remember the guy? He survived. This was after they found the dead villagers.
Yeah,
they found the guy on the road, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go check it out." He heard a noise, and then he just like left with the gun, and I'm like. You're like the only dude who like has any experience out here, and like there's a dying guy. Like you should probably not do that. And I was like, that was the first dumb. There's a couple of, not a ton, but there's a couple of other dumb moves. A lot of like,
and the sister tries to save her uncle or whatever. I don't know what he is, uncle or friend.
He's like an old friend of Idris's. It sounds like they used to do like I don't know, conservation work down there, and like that's why he's an old friend.
He did, and then that's how he met the wife, and then he introduced them to each other.
Yeah, that's why we have like
he was
the
pissed
tree
because he went to
picture.
live in New York with his wife or something, and he left him there.
What? Well, the backstory. I don't know. I didn't really understand the backstory.
I thought he was mad he went to live in New York instead of like.
I think he said something like he was upset he couldn't say goodbye to her because she was sick. Yeah, something like that.
Because he was like, oh, how is it like in the city? I thought they lived there together, or they lived together at some point, and then he like kind of fell in love and like left him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he did, but I think he did leave. But I don't think that was. I didn't get Martin, the uncle character, as you say. I don't think he was mad. I didn't get the idea that he was mad at him or like that.
I don't think he was mad. I think he would just. I don't know.
What was this? So
I said the stupid part was when the big sister tried to save him, like just get out of the car and like
and just like because they heard him scream. Like they kind of tried to play it off like, oh, I heard you scream, and then like, oh, that's close by. I'll go and look real quick. But it's always the separating in horror movies, especially when there's like a thing going around. You're like, that's just you never. It's never gonna work out. That's what and then when it becomes desperation time, I think that's when the movie's like it's desperation time. The characters are gonna start doing super desperate things that you would be like, really? You're gonna that's the move at this point? Idris starts doing that when the poachers show up, and then the lion shows up and scares them all off, and then they all go off the jungle and they're shooting, and Idris just basically goes to the remaining people. He's like, I gotta go find the keys. It's in the yellow shirt guy's pocket, I think. I'm just gonna start looking, and like they're just like, all right, like that's the best move we got right now. So he just starts wandering in the bushes.
I think it is the best move. I don't know. What
I agree. I'm like, but like watching it, I'm like, that seems like such a low percentage of working. Like, I get that at this point you're pretty desperate and like people are bleeding out and stuff, but like it's just like there's nothing you could do. You're just like, well, he's just wandering around. I thought that was pretty tense. It was like I can push back the silliness things and like things not making sense in my head away if I'm at least enjoying the like the way things are shot and the action, because that's another thing. That's what makes this move for me, is I think the action scenes are pretty good, because it sounds like we're saying the dialogue and the acting isn't amazing, but you guys had to have enjoyed. What were some of the stuff like worked for you? Because some of it had to have worked for you guys. It doesn't sound like you hated it.
I was, again, like there were some like jump scares kind of things, and I was on my seat like with lion and things, and I don't think the lion looked as bad as Nicole's perspective. Like I think it was a fine lion. I didn't think it looked incredibly fake or incredibly weird looking. I think it did okay for a lion.
I think it looked good I think it was a little exaggerated, but I think that's the point, because this isn't a regular lion. This is I am man-eating lion going on a revenge tour. So he can look a little rough, a little gruff, but it didn't look bad where it didn't look like this. Like, it didn't look like he wasn't there, like where the CGI was like floating around or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it looked like a physical creature.
I feel like the purpose of this movie was like they just got this new software that had like these lions on it, and they wanted to just shoot a movie to see how it worked. So they it kind of
has that feeling though. Like when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, this is like a plug and play movie. They're just like, who's a big dude? And they were probably like The Rock. And then The Rock was like, no, I'm busy. And they're like, all right, who's another big dude? Idris is huge. Let's get Idris. And then Idris, and then get like Charlton Copley. I know you guys probably don't recognize him, the uncle character, but he's in other movies. Like, all right, we'll get one other like C-list, B-list kind of guy. Couple kids, all right, and then like Monster. We did.
It's like, all right, let's test out this new software.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we got some lion graphics. We're guys working on some good. All right, we got. All right, so we got a big dude. People know we got a lion. I'm gonna put in the trailer. He punches it, maybe shoots at it. He's got a gun. There's an explosion. I don't know. The lion roars and jump scares. All right, we got it. We got a movie. And then they just made it in like a weekend.
Yeah, basically.
And it was fine. Like it wasn't like it wasn't as bad as some things we watch in here. But it was watchable, and tons of mistakes and errors. But
I'm ready to talk about the ending.
I feel like we're all ready to talk about the ending.
Yeah, so when we say Idris Elba fights, like you say, oh, what was Beast about? Oh, Idris Elba fights a lion. You kind of go, haha, he fights a lion. He punches a lion. He fist fights a lion at the end. The reasoning. All right, let's do the reasoning. Let's lay this out. The night's over. Uncle Guy has sacrificed himself. Older daughter's injured. They're getting out of there. They got the car. But it's running out of gas, and the girl's bleeding out. So Idris Elba's like, we got to make one stop at the abandoned abandoned schoolhouse that we passed by earlier in the film to set this whole ending up. And they're going around, setting up the tension, looking through. It's like a poacher camp thing now. Bad guy lion shows up at the end because we thought that Uncle blew him up, but no, he survived the explosion, and now we gotta have showdown. And at this point, Idris Elba is basically like, all right, this isn't going to stop until... He basically is like, this isn't going to stop until I go and punch that lion. I know how this has to end. So you guys stay right here. I'm going to go fight the lion. His reasoning in the movie is he's going to lure him out in the den of the rival lions. So the rival lions will come fight him. And then hopefully someone finds him in time to save him, which is of course what happens. But we still get a nice, I would say 2.5-minute fight sequence where Idris Elba's punching and stabbing a lion while this thing is fucking wrecking him, ripping him apart, and it's worth the price of admission. It was amazing.
Saw a lion like outside the zoo, like in the wild. I know my life would be over. Like no chance. Like even if it was just like sitting there sleeping, I know my life would be over at least at some point. Like that's what like some parts the lion attacks him and like they get like ripped up, but they're okay. And then, like, sometimes the lion attacks them and they get really, really hurt. So it's just inconsistent. The lion attacks are inconsistent with their injuries. And
it's whatever the movie needs.
Nobody would have ever been able to battle a lion for 2.5 minutes and still survive.
It's unlikely. Yes, I would agree. but I want to watch that. But I want to watch Idris Elba punch the lion while the lion like rips at his arms.
It started to turn into so bad it's good territory for me there. Like it was appallingly ridiculous. Like
so stupid.
I cannot believe that they thought that would be like, oh yeah, that people are really gonna like that and believe it. Like I don't know. It was...
Hey, we both had our jaws on the floor.
Oh my god, both of us had faces of shock and awe. Like I couldn't believe that they made this. Like I can't believe that they showed someone getting absolutely mauled by I'm saying rabbit because that thing was fucking rabbit, lion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting ripped across the stomach, the head getting slammed, body slammed, bit, eaten. I don't fucking know. I mean,
I'm picturing it in my head right now. He literally he puts the girls in the thing. He's like, all right, I got one last plan. Yeah, I love you girls. I'm gonna go take care of this. Yeah, and he has a knife, and he just like stumbles out into the middle of this dusty the field, and turns around, and the lion no longer running, just like walking pace right behind him. And then they get in their stances, and I'm just like, are they really they're gonna really say, yeah, Idris Elba's strong enough to kill a lion, like fight a lion? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go for it. I respect it. I like that they went for this absurdity. We already know the lion's too smart and like serial killery for a real lion. So go all the way with it and make the ending that, because it's already not believable. Might as well push it all the way at this point. We're already give the fans what they want. We came for Idris Elba fights the lion, and we got it. So
And
I'm happy with the choice.
The other lions were like the peanut gallery, like just watching it, being like, "Ooh, who's gonna win?" Until one of them's like, "All right, we need to like put an end to this. This is actually bad."
It negates what they said in the beginning or about. I don't know. They're really nice. Like I don't know what the guy said when they got.
No, the
there.
guy at the beginning. The guy at the beginning is it sets up the setting is that if a rival lion enters their territory, like the prides are very territorial. So if a rival enters their territory, they'll gang up on him and kill him. And that's like Idris's. That's like the plant, like the fake reason to have them fight at the end, like the movie reason. Because then when he wakes up in the hospital, because he somehow survived that, the one daughter's like, "I knew you could do it. I knew you would send the lion out in the field because you knew the other lions would come and help, and you knew that the rescue team was just around the corner. I knew that's why you did that." And then Idris is like, "Yep, that's why. That's the reasoning for my. That's why I ran out there against a lion with a knife in my bare hands was because I knew all those things." So I'm like, it's whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't like. This was never going to be a 5-star movie, so that's fine. Stupid reasoning for your motivation.
Oh my god,
Nicole, when you were watching this, were you thinking about like your cats? Like every time I saw a lion, I'd be like, "Oh, it's Tiffany."
No, I did not think
I always saw the lion as a cat, and I'm like, would my cat do that? Or like, that looks like my cat sitting down like that.
I actually was thinking about a series on Netflix that I've been watching recently called Wild Babies. And it follows
about the Rugrats?
No, it follows like baby animals in the wild and them learning their first things, and there's a couple lion cubs in it, and I was thinking about them the whole time. I was like, oh, I wish it was this instead.
You wish it was the baby animal. That's a maybe I'll assign that as a host pick because that seems like something that sets up perfectly. What was it? Oh, fun little piece of trivia I heard this week on this. Idris Elba's daughter, real life, auditioned to be one of the daughters in the movie. I don't know which one, but she did not get the role apparently due to a lack of chemistry with Idris.
That's fucking hilarious. Just like the movie plot.
Yeah, that's what the plot's about, though. Like,
well, that's what I heard. I heard another podcast. I was listening to another podcast, and one of the hosts on that said maybe it was because he has a good relationship with his real daughter, and in the movie it's a strained relationship, so they weren't able to act it out properly.
Oh
and I'm like,
God.
Yeah, right.
That's
or maybe
really
his daughter
funny.
is just a shit actor, and Idris is like, don't cast her.
I don't want to work with my kid. I already see him home enough.
Yeah, you usually hear of nepotism where like they get all the kids get free roles. Idris is preventing her from getting roles.
That's so funny.
It's only one actor in this family. Only one actor. Any other moments, things we wanted to mention in Beast? Anything we glossed over? I think we covered the highs and lows pretty well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna recommend it though. It's these ones. It's these on the edge ones. Let's start with Jess. You recommending Beast?
I don't think I can. Like, it's really right on the edge. Like, maybe if I had those dolphin girls or the horse girls, if I had a lion girlfriend, like, then I'd be like, okay, you should watch this because you like lions. But no, I don't, so I couldn't do it.
Are there a large contingency of lion girls like there are horse girls? Because I've heard of horse girls.
No, I don't. Like, yeah, there's little dolphin girls. Dolphin girls are definitely a thing.
I've heard of dolphin girls, yeah. Lion girls,
yeah,
maybe.
I mean, hey, there's an animal for every girl. So if you are a lion girl, this is your movie. But if not, like, I think you can get away with not seeing it.
There's an animal for every girl. There you go. You're Jess. I already did you.
What's
Nicole?
your animal?
Oh.
Jess.
Me?
Yeah.
Probably cat. And I was never a horse girl until I became a horse girl. So I'm kind of a horse girl, but more of a cat girl. I hate admitting I was a horse girl because I didn't like the horse girls, and then I became one.
Okay. So you didn't grow up a horse girl.
I didn't grow up a horse girl.
I
converted as an adult, so that's a little bit different.
Converted.
I think I did go through a small dolphin phase though. But I don't know. I'd probably say mostly cat lady. I wouldn't say cat girl. I'd just say at this point I'm just a cat lady.
What about you? Everyone.
I would probably say bears.
So if you replaced the lion with a bear, would you like this movie better?
Yeah, that's Prey.
Not exactly, but look, there's a movie called like Grizzly Maze or something on Prime. I think I saw where it's this, but the bear instead of a lion. So
yeah, I like bears. I'm only recommending this for the ending scene because I want people to see how absolutely ridiculous it was.
Yeah, I give it like a soft recommend, mostly because it's like if you saw the trailer and you saw the poster and you were like, I want to see that. I think if you went and saw this, you'd be like, yep, that's what I wanted to see. Like, I think this is like yeah, we said the dialogues and the story background thin, watered down, some weird bad ADR. Line effects are good, fights are good. The logic behind a lot of the choices in the movie, like with a lot of horror movies, is kind of sloppy and inconsistent, we'll say. But I think if you wanted to see Idris Elba fight a lion, it delivers. So two soft recommends, one soft not recommend, right on the line. So that's Beast. That is Beast. And we have I think what we got. I don't have the schedule near me. I think we have a host pick and a listener suggestion. Mama Kay and I are doing 3,000 Years of Longing, the new big giant. Oh, Idris Elba's in that as well. Actually, you guys aren't doing that one, but another Idris Elba thing.
Busy.
He is. He was doing nothing, and now he's doing everything. So I think we're gonna have 2 Idrises in a row. That one's got, I think, 65 on Rotten Tomatoes. So could be another mixed
2
opinion.
2 mediocre movies.
Could be. You never know.
He's got to stick to being a British detective. That's where I first liked him.
I'm going with Lawyer, Molly's Game. That's the best thing I've seen him in so far. I mean, I know he's done TV, but
wait, he was in Molly's Game?
He's the lawyer in Molly's Game.
I don't remember that.
He's her lawyer. He gives like a big speech, like defending her at one point to like all these stuffy asshole guys.
Yeah, I just didn't remember that being him.
Well, it was. It was good. Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost. And you can email the show, filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. I just messed with our hosting site settings today, so I know for a while our Spotify wasn't working. Like, we haven't gotten new episodes on Spotify for a while, so that should be fixed soon if it's not already when you're hearing this. And we have YouTube. This stuff's on YouTube now. I linked up to our YouTube, which we've had one. I'd never posted much there. So that is, Films with the Women in My Life on YouTube. We have that now, so that you can basically just play the show's audio with the picture of the show logo. We don't do video yet. All right, thanks guys for being on for Beast. That was what I expected.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Till next time, this is Brent signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.